Ladies and gentlemen, this is Abundance Thursdays with myself, Gualter Amarelo, the great Vinney Chopra, who's in the back of his car on his way to meet an investor. Vinny, what is going on, man?
Oh, brother, I'm meeting an investor here in a little bit, and I said I'll just park it in the park lot, not drive while we talk, and do this abundance mindset show, which I look forward to it every Thursday. I hope our audience also looks forward to it, and you look forward to it. We've been doing it for 2, 3 years now, and it comes live actually on all social channels, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern time. So, what's the topic today?
So today's topic is Wealth Principle 42, which is to give the impression of increase and advancement. So as somebody who's written the book on Positivity Brings Profitability, you're kind of a big fan of showing people more positive energy, putting the right foot forward. For everybody who's
Yes,
listening,
even in
if
the
you're
back of
wondering,
my
oh, you got the book.
car, I carry. I can't believe it. I carry this book in the back of my car.
Now that's an
If
author right
people
there. That's
want to
that's a
stop
true
me on the
professional.
freeway, they want my books. I stop at the free. No, no, I'm just kidding.
Vinney Chopra stands outside on the freeway. He's the only man on the road saying, "Do you want to buy my book?" So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to level up, let's say you've gotten to a really good place in life, and you're looking to increase now the ease with which you work. You'd like to take back your time. You've made money. You've
Yeah.
increased your net worth. You want to get back your time. It's going to take people believing that they should take you seriously. So, a lot of investors operators will be in navigating the world of investors. And a lot of times a person will say, "Hey, I want to invest with you." And an operator will not take it seriously because it's like, yeah, right. Everybody says that. Everybody says that. But do you have what it takes? Do you want to jump into my deal? And a lot of times we'll not even waste time on our emails anymore. We'll not even waste time. Like we think that, right? And Vinny, I'm sure you're guilty of it too. But I know you're very good connections. But
Yeah.
I have been like, this person's not serious. They don't really want to invest with me. And only 2 or 3 years later, found out that person did want to invest. That person did have money. That person was ready to invest, but they didn't feel or sound confident. It seemed like they were ready at that time. So as we're going into today's principle, there's a lot of different reasons to walk around with this positivity. Now, when you started real estate, you didn't know anything, right, Vinny? I assume that you weren't when you started multifamily, you didn't know anything. So you had to walk around with a different type of energy, not the "oh, I know nothing, don't invest in me" energy. You had to come with "I'm going to do something." How did you convince your mind? How did you convince others that you were going to win?
Very good question, brother.
Because
Fake
you
it
weren't
till
going to
you
move
make
there.
it.
You weren't going to move
Tom
to Texas.
Hopkins.
Like,
I know Tom Hopkins, my great mentor in sales who wrote the book, How to Sell Anything in Any, How to Master the Art of Selling Anything, actually. I think it's the name from Phoenix. And the key thing is you got to fake it, but you can only fake with confidence, with trust, with learning capabilities. That's what I was doing. I did not know what LOI meant 20 years back, letter of intent. We had single family homes, we just buy them straight, never gave LOI to any buy a seller, right? But multifamily, when I got into it, they said LOI. I said, what is that? They said cash on cash. I said, what is that? They said, well, DSCR, debt coverage. I said, what is that? Really? I did not know anything, brother, anything. But you could see, my past and whatever I've done so far, track record. I learned it. I learned it from the ground up. That's what it's all about. To really fake it with confidence, don't lie, build trust with investors. My first investor gave me 50,000 in 20 minutes just because I had learned why single family is not the right thing to do. The multifamily, having 10 units or 20 units, is the way to go.
you've built your entire wealth philosophy early in your career on single family. Multifamily is better than single family, but I'd like to go into something that we never talk about in this call, right? The
Okay.
impression of advancement and increase comes from the fact that you were actually a single family operator for a while. Like you had single family flips, you had single family rental properties.
Yep.
I
Yep.
don't think too many people know that about you, Vinny. I've
Even
gone
built single
back,
family, brother. I built also. Oh my gosh.
and you were a developer. You developed single families. You did new construction.
Yeah.
What kind of how many projects were you doing at in a year? Like what did your year look like before you shifted to multifamily?
It was a smaller one. I would say we didn't have much money down payments and all. You cannot borrow money. I didn't know about syndication at all until 20 years back. So back in the 80s and 90s, we were just saving our own money. And I took a big line of credit, actually, 295,000 from this one single family home that, went way up, 325 maybe or something like that. And that's what money we put them at 20% down, 15% down, got rentals going, right? So we had lots of them in like Phoenix, we had there in Georgia, we had in Texas, we had all over the place. In California, in Central Valley, cheaper place, right? So
I'm familiar with Central
essentially,
Valley. A while back, I went out there, checked it out myself. So you
yeah.
had, let's say, you were you buying like two or three single families a year? Was this
Yeah, maybe
one or
two or
two?
three we did buy in a year, then none because we were saving more money, all that stuff. But it took like almost 20 years, almost, right? Or 15 years buying these single family homes. We never really managed ourselves. We gave them to the local property manager because I was having a W-2 job, and I could not get these phone calls at night time and so forth like that.
So you
So,
worked a W-2 job. You were doing the single family flips. It took you 20 years of being a
yes,
single
yes,
family investor, building a single family portfolio, buying, let's call it
yes.
average one, two a year with some years off, like maybe buy one, two, three, and then you have a year off. So let's say it's one or two a year you're stacking up over 20
Yes.
years. How many
20
single
years.
families did you have at
I think we
your
had
peak?
about close to 18 or 20 of them. Oh my gosh, all over. I know not more than that because then we were realizing also that the cash flow looked good. But if there was a big need of a stove or this or garage or, appliances, there goes your cash flow. So I was telling my wife, I said, you know what? It's not going to make us where we want to go. And that's when somebody introduced me the idea of multifamily. That means having 20 homes or 20 residents in one location in 20 units, and maintenance is easier, economies of scale, one contract, you could get commercial loans, all that stuff. And then I paid 30,000 myself, I think, coaching fee, and then my teams also, I took them there. We spent over 100,000, I remember, borrowed money to teach our teams and so forth. Two people quit just the following 2 weeks, and that was a wastage. But anyway, the thing is persistence, consistency, and then you get the coach to share with you. Even 14 units, we were shivering, we were totally trembling, whether we should buy these 14 units or not, literally in
Now,
Odessa,
14,
Texas.
14 was your first multifamily. Your first
Yeah,
multifamily was 14 units. You
yeah,
had 18 single families at this point, and you were nervous to buy 14 units.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
scary.
It was
Where was
scary.
that 14 units again? Where was that first building?
Yeah, Odessa, Texas, brother. Odessa,
Odessa,
Texas,
Texas. But you didn't live
180,000.
in. You didn't live in Odessa.
No, no, no. I've never moved from Bay Area. Never, ever. All these 45 years, we've been living in the Bay Area, happily married and living here. Never moved anywhere.
But you
But I
did
just
live in
built.
Ohio at some point.
Yes, I did. That's where we came. We got married in Ohio, married in Pittsburgh, in the Hindu temple there on the turnpike in Monroeville, and then moved out here. 1980, we moved out 45 years back, and my
So
company moved us actually one year.
you've convinced me I'm on the path of Vinney Chopra. You just convinced me. Because you came to, where did your uncle live when you first came to this country?
Well, Washington, D.C.,
Washington,
Rockville,
D.C.
Maryland, with $7 in my pocket and nothing but just clothes.
So you slowly went from the East Coast into
Yes.
Ohio, and then you made it all the way to the West Coast. All along that journey, you started buying single family homes, and then you got up to 18 of those, and they said it's time to go to multifamily. And in
Yes.
a
Yes.
single transaction, you almost doubled your portfolio. But then
You know
a
what?
week later,
Yes.
you
Yes.
closed an over 100 unit property. Is that correct?
109 units, brother.
109
109
units.
units with 101 storage units on the same location. And that was in Odessa, Texas, too. And that property came around after 20 years, or whatever, 18 years, whatever it is. and somebody's selling it now, the same property. I told my VP of finance, I said, you're not going to believe this Palm Garden, whatever we bought, for 2.4 million. I bought it back then, sold for 5.6 million, gave my investors 40.43% IRR, back then. And that was my very first 109 units, totally, to be truthful. And, the key thing is this real estate doesn't die down. If you look back at it, that same property is worth maybe 10 million now. I don't know how
Right.
much it is. So it's gone 5 times in value. Real estate appreciates, even though the CPA and the tax laws in USA say that your property will be worth zero in 27.5 years, right? Residential property will be worth zero, but it goes higher and higher and higher and higher. That's mind boggling. You know, it's just amazing. The tax laws are so good for the real estate people in USA.
So we've got a time right now where you're absolutely
Yes,
right. In fact, Warren Buffett just shifted, I think, 284 million dollar, 284 billion dollars, billion with a B.
$1 billion.
So
Uh-huh.
284 billion dollars into government bonds. He now at this point owns over $100 billion more in government bonds than the actual United States Treasury,
Oh my gosh.
which is a
Wow.
very interesting time because that means he's going, that's a conservative play. That's a cash flow
Very.
play. It's a debt play. He's just saying, hey,
Yes.
I'm taking government bonds. I'm just taking debt versus the equities of his companies. So people ask me on the Facebook today, they're like, what is he doing? It's a reallocation. He's just looking at some of his
Yeah.
risk. He's taking some of that off the
Yeah.
table and he's putting it into income
Totally.
assets.
Wise
You've been
man.
doing the same thing. That's why you got into these cash flow plays, right? You've got a lot
Yes.
of cash flow plays that you're looking at the residential assisted living. You got your
Yes.
hotels, which are cash flow
Hotels. Yeah.
plays. These are income producing, income generating assets. The multifamilies
Yes.
are as well, but these are monster income generating assets.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
path you took from the East Coast, I'm really looking at, you went from East to West. You went from India, then you came to DC, Maryland, and then you came into Ohio, and then you came over to California. It's kind of similar. You took this single family market, you came in, you bought up to 18, and then you shifted into 14, then 109, like in almost instantaneously as you were coming across. And then you got into, you had 100 and
300s and
yeah.
250s and 191s and 92s, 367. Oh my gosh. I mean, and that's how, if you track other multifamily operators, syndicators, or fund managers like me, that's how they have seen their growth, to really jump into multifamily when it was cheap, but not last 3 years. Last 3 years have been horrendous, horrendous.
Horrendous. Everything was expensive.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
expensive, and Vinny didn't get into those. I was selling at the peak, and which is, thank goodness, hindsight is 2020, and the interest rates went through the roof and everything, and the insurance cost went up. Oh my gosh, killing it, killing it. Operators of multifamily, insurance, property taxes, and also the interest rate hikes, the mortgages went up. So
The
that's the
last
biggest.
the last 3 to 4 years, you and I have both been net sellers. We've been selling significantly more than we were buying. In fact, I remember last year you told me like I haven't bought anything. I haven't. It's one deal. I bought one deal, and but we're selling, 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 and all we're talking about is our exit strategy. And I think
Yeah.
you've brought in more investors now because of how fiscally responsible you were the last 3 years. You said, look, we made our money. We hit our targets. Like I don't need to hold this. We made our targets. I gotta
No, I
give them their money
appreciate you.
back. Give them their money back. Give them their money back. And now you're in a position where like you're bringing these amazing hotels and you've got
Yes.
investors giving you $2 or $3 million at a time
Yes.
because you gave them their money back. You didn't wait for a bigger deal. You said, look, guys, this is fiscally responsible. You're doing what
Yeah.
Warren Buffett did. You took money off the table, put it into, simpler cash flow assets. What do you think is the great opportunity right now? And I have a feeling I already know. I know it's the hotels. I know because of the way you're buying them. I know the alpha you're making just on the purchase, right? The market doesn't have to go up, right? You're making such great margins because these guys didn't prepare. How do you see the next few years going
See,
for
I
you and
would
your
love,
investors?
I would love to say that I'm open to foreclosed multifamily or right before foreclosures at big discounts and everything. But the multifamily needs to produce cash flow.
Yeah.
Cash flow is king. Don't worry about cap rate. Don't worry about upside. Don't bank on rents increases or anything. You got to really see what you're purchasing and making money first day when you purchase it. That's when you make money. Locations are the keys for multifamily as
Oh
well
yeah.
as for hotels as well as for senior living. Lots of senior livings are in trouble. I'm finding more and more and more and more. People are retiring, turning out, their kids don't want them. So there are so many great opportunities in senior living. People can come in, take over, even seller financing, get them out, because they don't want to pay too much taxes, figure out creative ways to really unload their asset, and you take over and so forth and turn them into money making machines. Same thing in hotels. We are buying hotels like at nobody's business. You cannot even buy those, not even
60%
build those.
off, 60% off, 50% off. It's
Oh
nuts.
my gosh, 65% off that one in Plano we are buying. I mean,
Yep.
it's just ridiculous. And it's going to be like 18 million into it, sell at 30 million in 4 years. That's 12 million profit. 12
That's
million
if the
profit.
market doesn't improve. That's
Oh,
just
if
because
it
of the
doesn't.
way it
Yeah.
is. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the location is so great and the poorly managed asset.
Yeah.
That's what we are going for. We are going for these great opportunities in hospitality, name brand hotels. I don't like boutique hotels, small hotels. You can make it work. Numbers don't work. But the key thing is when you are able to pick up a good flag and the flag wants you in that location and give you a 20-year contract agreement after you put the PIP money, or if it's already pipped out. Pipped out means capital improvements done in the hotel industry. So I'm writing my fourth book. That's going to be on hospitality. You know,
So we're all
just like
very
senior
excited about it
living
because
investing
that's
made easy, hospitality investing made easy should be my
I have
fourth.
a business partner, Vinny. Outside of my mentorship with you, like where you're pouring into me constantly, and you got the mastermind. There is a partner I've hired out here in Cleveland who he owns 300 units, and he manages my 400 units. And
Yes.
he used to manage hotels in New York and New Jersey, the Marriott.
Oh
So they would
wow.
develop the Marriotts in the Brooklyn Marriott, like that. Those were Marriotts he managed.
Sure.
So a lot of what he says is like, bro, like if you really want to see money, it's the hotel space, right? What we do in multifamily, it's wonderful. It's cash
Yeah.
flow.
Yes.
Because like you're saying, the one we just picked up in Jackson, I can talk about it now.
Yeah.
76 units. We just
Mhm.
got it under agreement yesterday. A lender called us. It's the lender who owns the property who bought it from another lender who defaulted. Well, their buyer defaulted. So now this lender bought that debt and they're
Yeah.
selling it to us for 50% what they bought it for.
Wow. Wow.
$16,000 a door, 19 tenants in
Oof.
the building already. I've walked it myself. And Vinny, it's unfair that this is happening right now. And I know it's unfair. And I feel bad for everybody involved. But this lender called me and said, we need you to do it. We need you to take it because you're an operator who just did 80 units, and we need you to take this. And he
Wow.
said, because I told him, I was like, I'll put 5% down. And he said, I know you said 5%, last week, and we did agree to that. He said,
Yeah.
could you sweeten it by coming with $100,000?
Hmm.
So that's like 7.5% down. And then the lender's going to seller finance the whole thing.
Oh my
This is
gosh, that's
happening right now because
amazing.
the operators are in trouble. The lenders, the
Yes.
secondary lenders, now the lenders are buying the bad debt at a discount, and now they're selling these properties.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
happening. This is here in the market right now.
It's right now, right now. I know a lot of people are outside the ball field, I call it. If you want to play ball, stay in the field. Don't be a spectator, because you will miss the opportunities. That's
Yes.
the biggest thing. People really look for open of the doors of opportunity. When they open, the doors shut close very quickly too. You got to make quick decisions. And that's what is the fallacy in lots of investors. They are looking for the green pastures. They are looking for always over analyzing, actually, or they are really overthinking. And then the third thing is they just say, you know what, it's going to get better and better and better. And it just does not go any better. It just gets worse. And then, you are saying, oh, I missed the opportunity. You can never hit the bottom. To be truthful, if you look at the curve, you can see the bottom coming, then you can see again when the bottom is already gone.
Yeah, you
You
don't
can never
want to
touch
catch
the
the
bottom.
falling knife because the bottom can keep going, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Keep going.
yeah. And
So
then you say, "Oh my gosh, what did I do? I snooze, I lose." The kind of thing, you say, "Oh, that was the bottom. Shit. Oh my gosh, I didn't buy it at that time." And the opportunity goes away.
So
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
you said, you got to buy for cash flow. These things have to make money today. It can't be predictive future money. You have to understand the asset class well
No,
enough.
no, no.
For everybody who's listening right now, this is Abundance Thursdays. We do this every Thursday for the most part at 9 a.m. PST, 12 p.m. EST. Now, Vinny gave me notes, and he gives me notes every single week. But this week, we want to try a different content format where I just kind of go through and I ask him his story and create that abundance of, Wealth Principle 42 is create the impression of increase, give the impression of increase and advancement. So I'm going to give you his notes right now, very quickly, rapid fire. Vinny said that if you want to create the impression of increase and advancement, you must do a number of things. And this is important for entrepreneurs who want people to believe in their mission, who want people to lend to them or trust that they're good to lend to or invest with, bring money to the table, or do the deal. One, you got to upgrade your language. If you listen to Vinny
Yes.
the entire time, he did not use the word hope. He said, I will. He said, I did. He said, I'm expanding. He said, I'm moving forward. Uh, One, dress for your future success. When Vinny was going on these
Oh,
calls, he's not wearing sweatpants. Vinny's literally,
no.
I've seen him. He dresses
Jacket.
up, puts the suit on. It's hot in the
Exact.
house. Vinny's sweating with the suit on, with the shirt. Three, celebrate every win loudly, but
Yes.
humbly. Hey, wow, this is a deal that happened. Yeah, man, we made this much money. We doubled our investors' capital. We heard it on this call. Vinny was literally living in that space.
Thank you.
Three, invest in your learning. It was something Vinny mentioned many times across this call. He said, you learn, right? I always like to learn. I'm paying for education. I'm getting into the next room. And then this final two are show gratitude publicly. Vinny is a wonderful person to hear. If you spend any time with Vinny, at some point he's going to thank people for you. And he was many times he's talking about the CFO. Many times the CFO. My CFO did this. My product manager did this. My wife did this. My daughter did this. And you keep hearing it in his words and his language. The more you show gratitude publicly for other people, the more people see that you are advancing. And the final one is visualize your legacy. You have to believe in where you're going. Vinny was just dropping this. Like you got to see, you got to believe and get to that next level. If you like the notes that Vinny's getting, if you like those, let us know. Drop it in the chats if you want access to Vinny's notes because that's something I have every week. And if you ask for, I can drop it in the comments. So if that's something valuable to you, drop it in the comments. Say, yeah, we want Vinny's notes, and I'll drop them in there so it's visible for everybody. Vinny, before we jump off, we do this every single week, but I think that this year is going to be more important for people to really pay attention to their wealth. It's going to be more important for people to get off the fence, to take action. Warren Buffett's getting into a conservative position. That means
Yes.
he's pulling money off the table, going into cash flow. Deals have to be done right because you're right, the market's doing some movements, like there's ups and there's downs, there's people losing money, there's syndications losing money, there's funds losing money, there's operators losing money, there's banks losing money, and all
Yeah.
of this means there's opportunity. Every time somebody is losing money, somebody else must be gaining it. The universe doesn't have a vacuum, right? The universe has positive and pluses. Nothing gets either destroyed or created. So what do you say for investors right now is the most important thing, especially if they don't know if it's a good deal or not? How can somebody know where to be in the next 3 months? Because maybe they can't learn it today, make the right decisions today. What could they do daily or weekly or monthly over the next 3 to 4 months to educate themselves?
I would say definitely. That's a very good question. Uh, Gualter, the key thing is you got to be really looking into opportunities. Stock market, when somebody sells, somebody wins, somebody loses because somebody other person is buying it so that they can make a profit later on, or one that is selling it is losing or making profit right now. Either way, right? The same thing is true. You got to be conservative with tariffs, what's going on with political situations in our country, USA. It just makes me very uneasy with wars going on, with everything happening. So I am, more liquid than ever, because we want to make sure these opportunities, they have to be fully vetted, underwritten, and looked at every single thing and make sure that the lender is ready. They have underwritten it tightly. Our assumptions are very, very solid and very conservative. Then only we're going to buy. But the real estate is the name of the game, I would say. It's not Wall Street, it's the main street. And lots of my investors are coming from their retirement funds, self directed IRAs, 401ks, EQRPs, all those good stuff. Because many times we are just holding on with 3% CDs or this and that, all that. But you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out if you're not making 8, 10% cash flow per year at least, right there, plus the upside. And that's what I'm trying to find, so that our investors can make, 15 to 19, 20% IRR, and so forth. So the big thing is you got to really educate yourself too. See, you cannot make your money grow by just putting the money in one place. Velocity of money is there. So be conservative, but also deploy in the right opportunities.
It's a time to reallocate. That's
Yeah.
literally what Warren Buffett did. He didn't move all his funds
Yeah.
into these
Yeah.
debt products. He reallocated a percentage of his portfolio and said, "Okay,
Yes.
it's time to have a little bit more debt." He's absorbing real estate, even though he thinks real estate's going to have a crash. He's taking on more and more real estate right now. That tells you something.
Yeah.
If the Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, is reallocating funds,
Yeah.
diversifying, spreading out, like this is a time for us to do the same thing. It's a time for us to look at our portfolio and say, do I have too much exposure over here? Am I too
Mhm.
heavy in the stock market? Am I too heavy in business? Am I too
Yeah.
heavy in debt? Or am I too heavy in assets that are illiquid? Where could I be? And do I have any real estate exposure? If I don't have real estate exposure, now's a good time, but it needs to be right real estate. It should not be your single family home. It
No.
should not be a project you don't know if it's a right decision or not. You need to understand the decision. Even more importantly, operator. I'm breaking down everything you just said, Vinny. That to me is I can go forward with that knowledge because now I've got two very successful people. I'm watching what Warren's doing. I'm seeing what you're doing. And I also see my buddy Eric Bone, who has almost $1 billion of real estate now. He's developing out in Phoenix, Arizona. He's developing a
Love it.
3,000 unit
Love it.
development over the
Oh,
next 5 years. So he's got 5,000 units, and that's his next move is to build
I love
versus
it.
just acquire, which is you've done
Yes.
developments, you've done
Ah,
ASLs, you're developing the 85 unit senior assisted livings with memory
yes.
care involved. So if somebody wants to level up, if you want to go to VinneyChopra.com, if you want access to any of his books, or keep an eye out for the books that are coming, The Hospitality Made Easy, go to
Yeah.
VinneyChopra.com. If you want to get access to his trainings, he does 2 trainings per month. These are free trainings still for now, free and available. Just know Vinny's not going to live forever, and Eventbrite may not have these forever. So as much as I think Vinny's going to be here for a long time, I'm certain that he changes his webinars every other week,
Yeah.
every other month. So
Hmm?
if you want one, go to VinneyChopra.com/events. Or you can go to
Yes.
eventbrite.com and you can check out Vinney Chopra and find out what's there. This week, we are doing a deeper dive into Wealth Principle 42 on Saturday. That's ibuildmillionaires.com. And if
Yes.
there's free resources or anything that you're looking for, if you want to contact me or Vinny, we're available on Facebook. We're available on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Send us a message. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next Thursday. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best. We'll see you next week.
Have a wonderful Thursday and the weekend. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Gualter. It's such a pleasure, man, spending this time with you and really gratifying. It's very gratifying, and I look forward to. I look forward to it.